This is Beyond the Veil with Norman Meredith.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Norman coming from Pickens, South Carolina with episode 49 of Beyond the Veil. And tonight we're going to talk some more about those UFOs and drones and plasma orbs that have been seen all over the world. It's not just along our East Coast anymore, but it's worldwide. They're being seen, let me take a drink here. Okay, they're being seen in Russia, Germany, China, Argentina, Peru, Brazil. They're being seen everywhere. United States, they're being seen all over the East Coast. They're being seen in Colorado, in Utah, California, the parts of North Carolina. There's been a reported sighting in Pelzer, South Carolina here. These things are being sighted everywhere. We're going to talk a little bit more about that tonight. And I have a guest host tonight. It is Ed Lease from Pickens Local.
Hey.
And y'all may know him as my producer, Ed.
That's right.
Ed, thank you for joining me tonight, especially for being the end of the year show.
End of the year show. So this one should be a blast. Lots of cool pictures and information. You guys need to pay attention to this because this is happening, honestly, in real time. I mean, this is something where it's like, hold on, are aliens real? Are all these things happening?
It's changing by the minute.
I have been, between you and me, we've been doing this for well over a year now.
Yeah.
And you come up with some stuff and I listen and I'm like, maybe this is, especially the evil side, the demons and stuff like that are happening. I know that that's legit.
Yes.
But when you start seeing physical things in the sky that even part of our Department of Defense, if I'm allowed to say that word, I don't know if I can.
Go ahead.
That are kind of like, we don't know what's going on. We don't know what this is.
That bothers you, don't it?
There was a Chinese balloon that happened. It came across the United States. I think it was from Washington State, and it came all the way down to South Carolina. And in South Carolina, we're shooting something out of the sky.
Oh, yeah.
So it came here. They shot it down. They got everything in together. So it was a physical thing that was, you could see it. You could see the balloon. You could see the little piece with the rotate. But this, we have no idea what it is. No. And it's there, and everybody is seeing it. And it's not just a part of the United States, not just the whole United States. It's places all over the world. So that's what makes it kind of trippy.
That does.
Yeah.
Before we get started on the show, one of my viewers, let me get their name here. Hold on a minute. Let me pull up my tablet. Oh, God. I got to do password.
Nah, and if I can add, too, I'm going to tell you what,
it.
guys, the messenger is blowing up. There are, at one point, I'm like, Norm, I think you need to start answering these things. But there are people in there with questions. There's people in there with statements. People that want to come on the show, they side with a lot of the stuff that you say,
I know.
And they're and I would think, they're from your viewing area, wherever. No, they're all over the place.
I know. It's amazing.
There's people everywhere.
Responses I get.
Yeah. So have you found it?
The thing I want to show is, and I can't find the person's name now. There was a viewer who took a screenshot of the side of my face. And they're saying they can see what looks like a person holding a gun. Now, if you look within that blue area, now that it's been blown up a little bit, you can see what looks like, from the scar tissue and the rosacea I have,
I can sort of see a hand right there, it looks like.
It's like somebody's holding a gun.
Yeah.
Like a cowboy or something. You can see it now, can't you?
There's people paying attention.
Yeah. I'd never paid attention, and someone did. And they looked at it and they said, "Hey, Norman, you got a spirit on your face." I'm like, "What?" I got a what on my face?
Are you a good witch or a bad witch? Sandwich, so, right?
They sent me that, and I'm like, "Cool."
That's weird.
And the thing is, you and I both like to shoot at, right?
We like
our firearms to go shoot occasionally.
A lot.
So, that kind of, for me, it falls in there that maybe this is my totem, the gunfighter.
I got you.
What can I say? It's my totem mark now.
Well, you like it. I like it. A lot of Americans like it. It's good stuff. I mean, we could talk now. What's the connection between these drones and people shooting stuff?
Oh God,
People are crazy.
there's been people shooting at them, and I seen one video. Unfortunately I did not download it. It looked like this guy took a .22 rifle and was shooting at a drone in New Jersey. And I'm sitting here watching these bullets going out and down.
And mind you, New Jersey has heavy gun laws.
Yes.
Some of the heaviest in the United States.
Yes. And see, all right, I know last episode I made a joke about breaking out the Barrett and shooting it. Please don't do this, because I'm going to tell you why. You don't know
Gravity.
Newton's law of gravity is what goes up must come down. So also, if you're shooting at something and you're not sure what you're shooting at, it could be a plane. And planes have what in them, Ed?
People,
People.
lots of fuel, then a giant mass coming to the ground.
Yes.
Yeah, it's not wise.
Yeah. And then from a few news sources I've been watching, also a bunch of YouTube videos that I've been following on different talking heads. Did you know there's so many laws out there right now? This is why they haven't done a shoot down yet over any urban areas.
Why is that?
Because there's so many laws out there prohibiting
Okay, yeah.
such an action occurring. Now, Wright-Patterson Air Force Base in Ohio, Langley Air Force Base, Andrews Air Force Base have all been closed down to these drones or these orbs. Okay. I'm not sure about per se the drones. Okay. I'm going to tell you there's 3 types up there, folks. Okay. There's the drones. Now the drones are ours and or civilian agencies or corporations. Okay.
I have a tagline. Do you want to hear it?
Sure.
Okay. And it just hit me.
Let's hear it. Let's hear it.
And it's literal, because if you believe in panspermia, which is the seeding of the earth and like from aliens, like they came seeded the earth and all these things happened, thousands of years ago. ET drone home. I'm telling you, there's something to that. They're coming in if they are indeed, from an intergalactic source.
Okay. Now I
sound like a crazy person.
No.
Putting it together.
Jackie and I talked the other day, and I'm going to read you what she commented to me. But there's 3 things, okay? These drones, okay? First of all, I believe they're military. Also, 3-letter agency types. They may also be foreign, as well as private corporations that is doing research into, you're going to get this, listen to me, folks, the second type of unidentified flying object you're seeing up there, which is the orb. The orbs that people are seeing are plasma orbs, are called plasmoids. Okay. Now, there's this theory going out there, and I've watched a couple YouTubes on this, on some serious talking heads on this theory. The plasmoids may be living, intelligent creatures. What do you think about that, Ed?
I don't know. I'm wondering if it's some kind of something else.
Because the reason I say that is if you looked at the ABC video, you could see a wheel within a wheel in a plasma orb and what looked like an eye. Now in the Bible, Ezekiel described that very same type of thing. The wheels within wheels. I don't recall the eye part. My Bible knowledge is a little sketchy right now, but there's a video out there. ABC's got it, and there's other videos that show orbs. Okay, they're translucent, generally like a goldish color, and you may see darker lines to them. These are plasma orbs. Now, these plasma orbs are supposedly intelligent. There is one video out there where a mom and daughter were talking to one. And the mom was telling the daughter to talk to the orb and tell it loved it and everything else. And if it could hear us and it loved us back, to blink out. Well, guess what happened?
What happened?
It blinked out.
I have this up here if you want me to read the Ezekiel part. So, and it's crazy too, because when you look at that orb, like one of them's like this yellow looking, kind of like wavy, almost like it's unfocused on. This is the crazy part.
Yeah.
It says in the Bible, Ezekiel's wheel is a vision of 4 wheels that appear in the book of Ezekiel and is considered a sign of God's omniscience and omnipresence. This is the crazy part. You ready? Mm-hmm. The wheels are described as having the appearance of the seas, the oceans.
Really?
And those yellow ones we see in the news are all waving.
Yeah.
They're waving like the seas and the oceans, and are made up of material that sparkles like yellow topaz or beryl, B-E-R-Y-L, beryl. They are also described as having the appearance of a wheel within a wheel. And the symbolism behind it is the wheels represent God's omnipresence. He can move anywhere quickly. The wheels are also associated with the 4 living creatures, which are later described as cherubim, angelic beings that guard God's holiness. So there's that. That kind of lines up ocean waves that are yellow in an orb and a wheel. Mm-hmm. That's
very.
There you are.
So there may be some truth to this, that they may actually be living things.
Well, they got to be something. I always wonder, like what is the what fuels them? You always hear, oh, it's nuclear, it's something. It's like, how do they move? How do they shoot out and disseminate all the little things coming out?
Based on some form of plasma energy.
Yeah,
and some of these drones up there supposedly have radiation detectors that can detect the radiation emitted by the plasma energy from these orbs. From what I'm understanding. And supposedly this may explain why some people are freaking out about and I'm saying supposed because I don't have documented evidence. You can't go by what everything on the web says, okay? About supposed increased levels of radiation in the areas of New York State and New Jersey where these orbs are being sighted. And then if these orbs are doing increased radiation, that might explain possibly why some of these drones have also been sighted spraying an unknown chemical. Yeah. They've been seen spraying stuff or leaving chemtrails. Did you know about that?
I know a little bit about chemtrails and contrails and what's what and what's not. And I wouldn't put it past anybody in the higher ups, a little straight north of here. Mm-hmm. So what are they called? Richmond, north of Richmond. I wouldn't put anything past that holding out anything. I mean, there's a lot of theories. There's a lot of this, and I don't want to sound like some kind of nut.
Now, one of the other things about the possibility of chemtrails, if a drone is spraying them, is a thing I read was, now this is one of the plasma orbs we're talking about. I'll get back to what I'm going to say.
Yellow topaz and waves.
Yes,
if you see it moving, it's
crazy. Can you blow it up a little bit?
I can. You got to give me a second.
Okay. While he's doing that, the thing about the chemtrails is, if you look in our sky, sometimes you see these trails in the sky. I'm gonna call them chemtrails, and this is what William Nighthawk says they are. They are, supposedly besides poisoning us, they're also supposed to be, get this, Ed, a anti-UFO deterrent. There's something in the chemicals that prevent UFOs coming into an area.
Well, if that's the case, you'd have to have UFOs before, and multiple of them, to test out that theory to make sure that you knew what chemicals you could use against future ones that are coming. Mm-hmm. So there has to have been some kind of contact in the past.
Right.
And I'm wondering, and if I may, I'm wondering, like in the new administration that's coming, because a lot of documents get declassified, I'm wondering if maybe something's going to pop up.
We're going to talk about that here in just a minute or two. Now, see, if the drones are supposedly spraying chemtrails, it's in order to stop the orb incursion and or the UFOs, because there's a third group, the UFOs, and these are coming into different sizes and shapes. So it means that there's more than one type of pilot race, I'm going to say, okay?
Okay.
I'm going to say there's more than one type of race flying these things. You know, some of them are triangular shaped. Those could be our TRBs from the United States. You know, I showed you some of these a while back, what we make that might be up there to be as a form of an interceptor. There are the classic circular shapes have been up there. There have been some disc shapes, like two pie pans together, the classics. There's been a lot of unidentified flying objects that are not drones. And like I say, there have been drones of various sizes that look conventional. There have even been misrepresentations that turned out to be aircraft or helicopters.
For sure.
Now, this here is almost a UFO. I'm going to say almost because it's got the traditional lights going around it. And that's, if you look at it, it looks like it's got maybe 6 spears of lights on it, stuffed between 2 pie pans.
Right.
You know, now this would be a possible classic UFO. And I'm saying possible because I don't have clear evidence to tell you otherwise. Or it could be a spear because we don't see the rest of the craft. So we may be looking at the midsection of a flying saucer.
I also want to add too, it may have been moving up in altitude, and because of the type of camera, and I've come across this before, it has like a pull stream on the bottom of it.
Yeah.
For like previous frame type stuff where the bottom looks thicker and elongated because it's quickly moving in
You got
up
to
in
take in
altitude.
you got to take in the fact what the camera's taking in.
Yeah, it can only take so much.
So much effect. All right, I'm going to read you what Jackie sent me.
Let's do it.
All right, here's what Jackie sent to me. All right, she says, wishes everybody here Merry Christmas. The drones are detecting radiation and are from NASA. It's some sort of Air Protection Act or whatever BS they're trying to pass off. These are, however, plasmoids that are sentient, and I'm thinking sort of ticked that all that activity is happening. These things are interdimensional. Okay, so she's saying the plasmoids are interdimensional creatures coming from other dimensions. That's a good possibility because we've talked about that with portals and such. They are pure plasma energy that feed off electrical charges such as thunderstorms and other highly electrical activity, both human-made and Earth-created. Now that's a good thing because there has been a report of an orb going to a solar farm and sucking energy out.
Of a solar farm?
At a solar farm.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
What's next?
Okay.
It's like a vampire drone, vampire UFO going and getting its sustenance.
And she also says, I'm pretty sure there are other things within our atmosphere that are non-human made, but for the most part, they are not really doing anything except observation. As far as the ones going into and coming out of the ocean, those are alien bases that have been here for at least 4,000 years and have, for whatever reason, decided to become more noticeable. I'm going to tell you about a story about that in a minute. Now, while she's here on the planet Earth, is not on the dark side of the moon, on August 14th of this year, she captured a video of a drone or orb near a housing over an Air Force base close to a house she was staying at. This was when they were first being noticed. I'm not sure what it was or if it was human-made or otherwise. It has the same marking lights that the others have so far. It must be related. Okay? And then she says, wishes Merry Christmas. Again. So she has seen these herself as well. Now this one's confused me a little bit. It's looks like it could be pyramid shape or triangular in some way, shape, or form.
I almost see spherical, if we're being honest with it. I see a sphere, like a bowling ball, but as you get towards the bottom and go back away from you, it looks like it just gets darker. And the light casting from its own light, where you can sort of see the right-hand side and left-hand side, it almost looks like Sputnik without the antennas.
Okay.
That's just me.
It's possible. I mean, we don't say nothing is not possible here. Anything is possible. Mm-hmm. All right. There is now we've talked about the lost city of Atlantis on this show at one time or another. We've also talked about the possibility of alien bases, of being under the water. Because reason we say alien bases is because there's so much resources under the water that is untapped. And an advanced civilization was able to come down here. They could put up a city underwater. They could mine these resources. There's food. There's energy. There's the thermal vents to provide heat, to provide smelting, whatever. And then there's the magnesium and iron and God knows what else is down there on the bottom that aliens could use to build and live from, just from the ocean itself. So it's not improbable that there's an alien base or bases located in or around water. Okay? Plus water itself, if they're able to light it, they can get hydrogen molecules. And then if they can process it whatever way they want, they can get energy. All right. One of the things that has been suggested is that there's a remote robotic type base that moves around the Bermuda Triangle that builds drone type UFOs that comes out for the sole purpose of observations. And that some of these UFOs that are being seen are nothing more than observation craft observing what's going on in this world. And right now, because the plasma orbs are out, the UFOs have come out. So basically, when the plasma orbs came out, the drones went out, and so this ticked off the UFOs to come out and see what the other two are doing, which is now giving us a trinity of events going on with unknown objects, known objects going on in the air. What you think?
I don't know. I cannot confirm nor deny that.
All right. Now, people say, why haven't they shot this stuff down? Now, Washington, D.C. Now, all right. This is an idea of a possible saucer-shaped UFO?
Or is it 4 running in tandem with one another?
It could be 4 running in tandem. Or it could be like a diamond shape.
How do they communicate with each other? But I know we've got things that can listen, in the sky that can detect frequency. I mean, it's just standard military stuff.
Frequency hopping generator.
But we don't know what it is.
Yeah. Pull up that one about the drone over Washington, D.C.
Which one?
It should have the nation's Capitol building in it. I don't have that one. All right. Let's talk about Washington, D.C. and the air bases for just a minute.
Okay. Let me see if I missed it real quick.
Okay. I thought I sent you that one.
I'm going to look.
All right. Now, Washington, D.C., after 9/11, National Guard Avenger units went up there to post. Now, Ed's going to show you a couple pictures of Avenger Humvee units. Okay? These come from the great state of South Carolina, particularly some from the Anderson County. These are Stinger-mounted surface-to-air missiles. They also have, some of them used to have 50 caliber machine guns on them.
Mm-hmm.
They are used to take down low to medium flying threats. Now, some of these are even located on some military bases. Now, if there's been sightings of UFOs, orbs, and supposedly drones over Washington, D.C., nobody has engaged. There's anti-drone equipment at there's a nuclear reactor site in New Jersey where an unidentified flying object drone, a drone and a orb or orbs were seen. They broke out the anti-drone equipment. You know what happened?
What happened?
Nothing. The drone equipment didn't work. The anti-drone weaponry did not fizzle it, didn't phase it.
So you're saying that maybe they have like some type of like stifling, shielding, some kind of magnetic frequency.
Show them some of the stuff that we got from the military. Now, this is personal backpack related anti-drone weapon area a person can carry. Now, this is the common stuff that some of the folks at the reactor sites would carry.
Yeah, and that'll jam the frequency from between the remote and the actual unit flying.
It didn't work.
That's crazy.
Folks, the Sheriff's Department even has these. It didn't work.
Well, when you think about it, and I got to add too, when you think about it and you have a drone, like I have a drone. I've got a DJI Mini SE, and it's great.
Yeah.
It's 249 gram. And when you fly it, you've got a controller.
Right.
And then you have the drone.
Right.
Well, I could see how, one of these, let's go back to the picture. I could see how one of these would jam, essentially the line that's between the two. But if it is self-flying and there's nothing else controlling it, it would be all internalized. Everything,
It'd be harder to
everything
jam
would
it?
be in-house. There's no remote to it because something or someone,
A pre-programmed
or
decision.
pre-programmed autonomy, like geolocating, like meteorological,
Yeah.
all sorts of different ways that you can program a drone to be
Right.
like a UAV,
Yeah.
essentially, even though they are UAVs. I know Navy UAVs they're controlled by some guy in a box in
Yeah. Nevada.
Nevada, but it seems like this is not that.
Yeah.
They seem like they're 100% autonomous. What do you think?
I agree.
Okay.
Now, here's something else so you all know. U.S. Marines were having issues with these drones, orbs, UFOs. They were told to stand down. Do not intercept. Do not fire. Do not engage.
That guy right there wants to get busy.
Yeah. Now, this is, believe it or not, this is an ideal for an anti-drone weapon. It's based off a quad 450 caliber rifles from back in the 1940s. But this has got three 7.62 rifles on it, maybe, or 5.56 maybe rifles to throw up enough lead to bring a drone down.
That looks like a 5.56.
Yeah. Magazine fed. Personally, I'd use a minigun.
Yeah. Now you do have other anti-drone systems like this one that's right here.
Yeah.
And these can be sometimes somewhat purchased if you know a guy. Sometimes, but these are the same. You can see one is even like sky scanning. The one on the right looks like it's LiDAR almost, and the second one from the left. That looks like frequency receiving and reading, and that would talk towards the far right one, the LiDAR one.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what type of technology is in there? Not exactly sure. This one here is from the Marine Corps,
Laser based.
right? So that one is, if you would, I don't know if you've ever been intimately familiar with a UAV, the Predators that normally fly over.
No.
Okay, so
I
they
haven't seen any personally.
up close. They normally fly over, let's just say, Afghanistan,
Yeah.
and Iraq, and they are just Overwatch normally, but sometimes they are armed, especially when there's a terrorist threat and they need to delete something or someone. This looks like exactly the same type of giant eyeball that would be mounted transversely on the bottom of a UAV.
Now, I've seen those pictured before.
Right, but it's on the ground.
Right.
So are they taking the technology that they would have, whether it be, like FLIR related or thermal, and putting it on vehicles looking up?
Yeah.
Because this is normally on a Predator drone.
Right. Well, I'm sure
They're getting serious busy.
I'm sure they're using this similar technology for laser weapons and other
Yeah.
type of weapons.
Oh, yeah.
Now, if you're in a UFO community, you've all heard of Dr. Greer. Dr. Greer is a trauma surgeon that is very big into bringing about disclosure about the UFOs. Now, he's released some documents today. I have not had chance to read them. But the basis of his documents state, now get this, folks, okay? Hope you're all sitting down. Put your drink down because you don't want to snort it out your nose when I tell you this, okay? He's saying this is one big giant psyop
Could be.
by the black hats.
Could be.
It's nothing more than black psyop running by the black hats. And what we're seeing is reverse engineered alien technology that the black hats are throwing up to cause confusion. Now, along that same line, I want you folks to go and Google something. Okay, it's called Project Bluebeam. Project Bluebeam uses what's going on now, advanced, and I mean very advanced, holographic illusions of craft that would simulate a UFO invasion. And like supposedly inside one of these giant motherships that would be created using the Project Bluebeam spacecraft, a B-21 or a B-2 bomber would be in there, and then they would drop the bomb on, say, Atlanta, New York City, or Los Angeles to create an alien invasion narrative.
So, do you want me to read the article that I have? It's really quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, it's interesting. All right, let me read this. And guys, bear with me on this. I don't have my reading glasses because I'm old. I forgot them. And because I'm old, I need them. But this says, in a joint statement Thursday, the FBI and the Department of Homeland Security said that there is no evidence at this time that the reported drone sightings pose a national security or public safety threat or have a foreign nexus. Now, I mean, you got stuff in the sky over our mainland and we're not doing anything about it. Well, if those certain people who can do something about it are not doing something about it, tells me that it is them who are doing that thing. That's my opinion. However, some internet sleuths are convinced that there's a secret, sinister plot at play, while others are latching onto more outlandish theories. And this is where comedian Roseanne Barr comes in. She stepped off in the deep end and connecting the sightings to a conspiracy championed by InfoWars founder Alex Jones called Project Bluebeam. The decades-old conspiracy posits that the government will stage a fake alien invasion as a way to create mass panic and institute authoritarian controls over society. Now, what I do have to say is, maybe not directly, but sort of the same thing that COVID brought on. Mm-hmm. It did affect people. People did die from it. It was a real disease, but I think the media maybe inadvertently played a role to hype it up because they wanted ratings, which equals money and advertising. But who's to say that the higher ups wouldn't do something like that? In my opinion, it's possible, but I don't know if it's probable or credible. What do you think, Noah?
I'm 50-50 because you got to look at what they're saying and not saying. I mean, you got this Admiral Jack Kirby from the Pentagon, okay, saying, "Oh, we have no problems with these UFOs, drones, or orbs over nuclear facilities or air bases," but yet it's on record military air bases are being closed down, but he's saying none of this has occurred. He's clueless.
It's a little crazy.
It's denial. I mean, they're denying what's going on, and but then Trump goes, he knows what's going on, where they're coming from. So, but see, the thing I want to tell you about, remember in a couple different shows, I've always told you, Trump and Benjamin Netanyahu met with representatives from what's called the Galactic Federation. Just recently, an Israeli general who is retired has come onto the news and has reiterated this meeting with Trump and Benjamin Netanyahu about the meeting with the Galactic Federation. And he's kind of hinting this has got to do with that these members of the Galactic Federation are trying to push disclosure. Okay? So I can't say what's true or not true until something lands or multiple things land and they make contact.
So I've got a little bit of Dr. Greer. If you
please.
if you want to have a listen, let me. You're going to have to bear with me as
That's fine. I want
as
people
I get
to
some
hear,
of this set up.
I want people to hear Dr. Greer.
And again, let me throw some things in there. You know, some of this is from Alex Jones. Alex Jones is a maniac.
Is.
He's a little crazy. Well, I don't. That's a lie. He's a lot crazy, but he finds out things that happen months and months and months before they actually happen.
Yeah.
Like he had the name of Osama bin Laden in the World Trade Center 6 months before it happened and said what was going to happen. So there is some credibility there, but let's let the audience decide for itself.
Well, that's like with The Simpsons. The Simpsons come across with some stuff that seems to come true.
Yeah, and they actually animate it decades before it actually happens.
Yes.
And then it's like, is life imitating art that's imitating life? I don't know. Let's let the listeners listen to this, and we will see what happens.
Why this conservative Republican president named a five-star general, Eisenhower, said on his last speech to the nation as he left office, "Beware the military-industrial complex."
We must guard against the acquisition of unwarranted influence, whether sought or unsought, by the military-industrial complex.
He wasn't talking about his brethren in the military rank
No, he
and
said
file.
a technological elite in control of it.
We must also be alert to the equal and opposite danger that public policy could itself become the captive of a scientific, technological elite.
People don't realize that Eisenhower, on his watch, lost control of the technology transfer issue around ET spacecraft. They circled the wagons and cut him out. So that's where I get into the Majority Intelligence Committee, MAJIC. It's pronounced MAGIC, ironically, or not ironically. And that is a blend of both corporate and government programs. And I've met with a number of them who are involved at that level. And they all have this agenda to want to control the world through one calamity after another. And the big one they've been planning is to host sort of an alien threat from outer space.
So what do you think, man? Where you at on all that?
Well, Professor von Braun,
He was just on screen half a second ago.
he said basically the exact same thing. His secretary, in an interview, stated that von Braun said that members of the government would stage a fake alien invasion.
It's distraction, though. But, you know, we all know that there's distractive things. It's like, hey, we're going to make something big and pinpoint focus from almost all of America. We know that the TV networks pick up on it. They all focus in on that. But something's going on over there.
Now, remember, when it comes to PSYOPs, they'll tell you 95% of falsehood with 5% of the truth.
Oh, yeah, for sure. You know, and people think you're a nut job when you start talking about this, but it's been going on forever. So either it's been going on forever or everybody's been crazy since the beginning of America.
Here's something I bet you didn't know.
Probably.
Right now, there's a group of astronomers in the free world and Chinese astronomers that are getting to release something very important tomorrow that may be earth-shattering about extraterrestrial life.
Really?
Yes.
Is it like feed from a telescope?
I don't know.
Is it
They-
something that
they
they
don't
saw on Mars with the rover? If that
I have
happens,
no idea. All they're saying is there's going to be the Chinese and these other folks, other
Okay.
astronomers, they're racing to see who's going to release it first
All right.
about extraterrestrial life. Now, there's another video I watched talking about Proxima b. It's 4 light years from Earth. It's an exoplanet that's tidally locked. And this planet being tidally locked, it don't rotate. Half stays in the sunshine, the other half stays in blackness.
One's burning up and one's freezing cold.
Something like that.
All right.
But the interesting thing about it is the dark side is lit up with natural lighting. And that there has been signals coming from there that are similar to our FM and other signals that you find on Earth. So somebody was laying the groundwork to maybe something's there.
How do they? Well, then again, I mean, can we be that?
The Webb telescope seen this.
I gotta ask, can we be like that egomaniacal that we are the only people ever to exist in this vast organisms? You know what I mean? Like in this vast, just like galaxy that we're in.
There are people that believe that. But personally, if there's life here, I believe there's life out there.
Yeah,
You know,
there's got to be something. You know, you think. I mean, how do you? My biggest thing right now, as of like 2 days ago, is how they're like, no, nothing to see here. Everything's fine. But you've got an SUV sized drone flying over your city. And they're like, no, everything, it's cool. Don't worry about it. No,
like,
we got it. It's like, if you're doing that, you know something about it.
something's wrong.
You got to think. And it's weird too, because a lot of these, and this might be a stretch.
Okay.
But a lot of these, you said Virginia, Pennsylvania, New York, New Jersey. Obviously, it'd have to be Connecticut because Massachusetts is in there. They're talking about them flying over these states would be the least capable or legally allowable to shoot down.
Right.
There's really, because
Too much infrastructure.
No, just the gun laws alone.
Yeah.
You're not able to own certain things, or you have to have permits for certain things. You don't see them flying over Alabama, Tennessee, South Carolina, North Carolina. You don't see them.
We got big guns down here.
So so the en masse stuff is over New Jersey. Why is it New Jersey?
Never thought about the gun laws.
You got to think. There's some kind of correlation between there. I can't put my finger on it, but it's like I would think anything on the east or northeastern coast or anything on the west coast because of gun laws.
Now, you see, one of the things that they were trying to push for a little bit was a narrative that they were looking for, get this, a missing WMD from Ukraine and or medical nuclear waste. Okay? That was supposedly missing and that these drones are searching for. But
So they're surveyor drones, essentially.
yeah, but it don't fit the narrative. And why? They're not out during the day. The police are not in on it. The state police are not in on it.
This only leaves one person.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It only leaves one more tier of authority in the United States. So it's got to be federal.
All right.
Right? Mm-hmm. Has the military came out? I got to ask, because I haven't been really close on it. Has the military come out with, we have no idea what's going on?
Yes.
The DOD,
And Air Force 2-star come out, besides that Admiral Kirby, who I don't take.
Sure.
An Admiral 2-star, Air Force 2-star come out and says, we have no idea what they are. Some of this might be just commercial stuff.
The size of a car. Why does it have to be the size of a car?
And then Kirby's going on that it's just recreational people flying their stuff at night. I'm like, thousands at night?
All over the place?
All over the place. Yeah, really. I mean, this is...
My question, too, is, again, back to the Chinese balloon that flew over South Carolina, and they shot some jets up there, scrambled them, shot it down, recovered it, got all the stuff. Why are they not doing the same with this? I mean, there's air traffic controllers talking to pilots. And the pilots are describing these are pilots. These are people with hundreds and thousands of lives in their hands every single day, flying from point A to point B. They keep seeing them in the same spot in their route that they're flying. And you can hear the conversations between these airline pilots and the tower.
Now,
And it's like, they're like, this is it's off to my left. Oh, hold on. Now
they're
it
not
blinked
picking
and,
them up on the radars.
and it's off to my right.
They're not picking them up on the radars.
Just imagine, what is it going to take? Is it going to take an SUV-sized drone flying through the turbine engine
That's already
of a
happened.
767? Has it?
A drone hit a plane coming into LaGuardia.
I saw one that looked like a bird strike, because those are common. Those are very common.
I looked at it. I never known a bird to have a red light on it.
So how big was it in comparison, and what size
It didn't look like it was very big, but it was big enough to go. It would look like a decent sized drone.
I mean, people do stupid crap, and that's why, like, when you're flying a drone, immediately the map pops up and there's red no-goes.
Yeah.
So if you live near an airport, you live near a federal military installation,
And
like,
I will tell you this:
fly there.
There was a police helicopter. Some say it was a military helicopter that was pursuing some of these drones, and they went dark and they lost them. This was over in New Jersey.
How can they not detect them with radar? Are they too small? If it's an SUV size, man, that's like the size of a helicopter.
Could be the material.
like a owner helicopter, like a privately owned helicopter. You're able to find that on radar.
A thing called RAM, radar absorbent material.
It's crazy, man.
Doesn't matter what the shape is. RAM, radar absorbent material.
RAM. I'll go with you.
That's
I
it.
mean, how I don't know how it's not picked up is
And that's the same thing with heat sources. They're not producing heat.
all right.
They can't pick up a thermal image. They're not picking up electrical frequencies. They're totally dead.
Well, they're existent, but you would have to then say it's a beyond.
It's beyond our technology to detect.
Our comprehended technology, something that we don't have.
Right.
That's a little scary.
Yes.
What happens if your adversary gets a hold of that technology because they took the initiative to shoot it down? What do they call it? Reverse engineer and snag it. And the Chinese are really good at that. And then use that to sort of dupe their way into whatever they want to do here to take us over.
There is a story out there from John Lear, I think his name was, when he retired from Lockheed. He has stated, and there's been other people have supported his statement.
And this is Lear of
Lockheed.
Learjet Manufacturing.
He worked for Lockheed.
So that's a notable.
He was an engineer, pilot, and everything. He says we have technology that would put George Lucas's Star Wars to shame.
I believe it. You got to tell me though, what is in there? Is it like a net? Is that some kind of EMP?
I think that's supposed to be an EMP gun.
An EMP would do damage to a terrestrial drone.
Yes.
But we don't know whether that would blast something off the face, out of the sky if it's extraterrestrial.
Right.
We would just have to wait to snag one of these things to, take it apart. I would believe it would drop right into Area 51 or Los Alamos, somewhere in there that are close together, out of the way, heavily guarded.
Yep.
And aren't they like the nexus from where all these, especially 51?
Actually, it's now in Utah.
Okay, yeah.
They moved to Utah.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff in Utah as well.
See,
a lot of
people
different bases.
still think it's in 51, but it's not. They've moved to Utah. And they probably moved from Utah to another place because Utah is where everybody's talking about.
Right.
But now that you mentioned it, here's an interesting thing. Do you know what's famous about Wright-Patterson since it was closed down a few times?
No,
Do you know where the original Roswell crash remains went to?
I have no idea.
Wright-Patterson Air Force Base,
Where's that located at?
Ohio.
Ohio. Why Ohio of all places?
Because that's where they had the Air Force Logistics Command, and that's what moved material around.
Okay.
And supposedly, there's a story, there's an underground bunker complex under one of the hangars, and that's where the original material and the bodies went. And for the longest time, that's where all the material went until Groom Lake was built up more.
So when you say bodies, what do you mean by bodies? Like extraterrestrial bodies?
Yes.
So is there like cryogenic preservation?
Yes.
That's there?
Yes.
I mean, that technology, even back in the 40s and 50s, was still relevant and enough to hold people, I think, up until like the 90s. And just think about the advanced technology there. They would have to underground all that stuff.
And you know
it wouldn't be publicly available, I wouldn't think.
Yeah, it
So
ain't.
that would, what I'm getting at is that would tell me that these things, if they are truly were bodies or corpse, that they're still here.
Relevant.
They're still here.
Yeah.
Dude,
Do
you
you know
creeped
what
me
else?
out, man.
Do you know what else Wright-Patterson's famous for?
What is it?
It was the original home of Project Blue Book.
Okay.
The first
tell us about
Air
that.
Force, it was the home of the first official, I'm saying official, UFO investigative group,
Blue Book.
Project Blue Book.
Why is it blue? Blue Beam, Blue Book. What's blue?
I don't know. Can't tell you.
They should call it Grays.
And then they changed the names over the years to different things. Project Grudge. Grudge comes to mind. I can't think of the other ones, but they kept changing the name for a while.
I'd like to see the corpse. That would be a whole different definition to Grey's Anatomy. Mm-hmm. You'd like to see it, you know? Wonder how those things work. Who knows? With where we're at today, people would probably try to hybrid a human and one of these extraterrestrial beings.
Well, supposedly that's already
you know,
being done.
like
in,
some kind of cloning
Under-
and droning, man.
that supposedly is being done in a secret base called Duluth, New Mexico.
That's crazy because I know that.
That's another story.
Well, maybe that's another episode.
Yes, that's where Phil Schneider had his issues and stuff, but we'll save that for another thing. Well, folks, I'm telling you what I'm going to do. We're going to leave this for tonight and for this year. Think about this. Send me your thoughts, your opinions, your links. Send me your pictures. I'll post them up on the Facebook page. Tell me your encounters, because I'm not going to turn away an opinion or an observation or what you think is going on out here in our world right now, because we're at the precipice of disclosure. And with President Trump coming into office here soon, hopefully we'll get that open disclosure of what's out there.
And we've got one more video that we would like to show.
Okay.
You ready for it?
Yes, sir. Let's
All
go
right.
ahead and see it.
Check this out.
All right, this video was posted years ago of a unknown flying object, and Ed and I have looked at it, and we're not sure if it's fake, if it's real. What are your thoughts? I mean, Ed and I are talking and said maybe it's some form of Earth defense ship, you know, like some kind of small space destroyer cruiser that was taking off. Or it's a really good CGI. I mean, but it's flying through cloud cover. I mean,
Yeah, and it's marked with a lot of lights as if it wants to be seen.
it's got the proper running lights that you would normally see on a ship.
Yeah.
And tell me your thoughts on this. Do you think this is an actual craft from what might be the Earth's or the U.S. Navy's 10th fleet? The 10th fleet is supposedly a spaceborne fleet that is in elliptical orbit or equatorial orbit around the Earth. There's two large cigar-shaped mothercraft / carriers that are in orbit around the Earth. A British hacker found the names of these non-terrestrial officers and, get this, supposedly aliens that were with them on board these ships, manning them as part of a space defense force. So tell me what you think about that, your thoughts, and reach out to us. And we're going to leave that for this year. We'll see you back next year around January 6th probably, or that week of. So everybody, I'm going to wish you a Merry Christmas, a Happy New Year's. Play safe, be safe, drink safe, get a designated driver. And please, folks, watch the skies, take notes, take pictures, get a friend. And I don't say this often, but if you're in doubt, prayer. For peace of mind, pray. Talk to your friends about what you see. Have open discussions. Don't be afraid to speak your mind or how you feel about this if it makes you anxious or worried. Speak to somebody if you're concerned or you have fears, okay? Don't let this dwell into you, okay? I want you to find an outlet for if it troubles you, this stuff going on. Find someone to speak to, even if it's a professional therapist or a doctor if this is getting to be too much for you. For some people, this might be. And if it is, please seek help. Talk to family members if you have to. All right? But please be safe. Keep your eyes and ears open for what's going on. Listen to what's being said. Listen to what's not being said. And take everything with a grain of salt. Okay? When all the news outlets start repeating the same thing, then you got to worry. Okay? But until then, watch, listen, be careful what you listen to. Grain of salt with any material you get, okay? And cross-reference anything that you hear or see. All right, Ed and I are signing off from Pickens, South Carolina. Ed, wave everybody goodbye. There's Ed from Pickens Local, and me from Beyond the Veil. We're going to tell you good night.
Absolutely.
Good year, and we look forward to seeing you next year, folks. Thank you for your time and joining us tonight for this 1-hour episode of Beyond the Veil and Drones, Orbs, and UFOs.